Hey guys, welcome back to another gameplay and commentary of Team Fortress 2. Today I'm going to be doing a variety of classes in Team Fortress 2 and it's going to be pretty fun. Whilst we do this, I am also going to talk about Overwatch and why I quit Hearthstone for good, even after I played for almost a year since the open beta. Okay, now let's get right into it on Hearthstone. So, Hearthstone used to be very fun. It was very fun. And then Zoo was created, and I could deal with it. Zoo wasn't insane. There were things like Hunter, and I even played a little bit of Zoo myself. It was fun, because it was a new deck. And control decks could still survive in the metagame. So that was pretty cool, right? But not anymore, because different decks have been introduced and different new cards have been introduced, and it's become very bad. The whole Undertaker nerf thing, Undertaker was out for quite a few number of months. Blizzard did nothing about it, just monitored the situation, saying, oh, dirty, everything's fine, Undertaker's fine, who cares? And then they finally nerfed it, everyone was super happy, and then they released the card sets for GVG, and everyone's like, oh, well, we know exactly what we're making. Mech Mage. Mech Mage. That is all I can say about Mech Mage. It is seriously overpowered, and any chance that control decks had of surviving in the meta is completely lost. Mid-range decks, yes, they are very good now. However, mid-range decks cost a lot of arcane dust, you need a lot of expensive cards, and are usually chock full of legendaries, which I am a FTP player. I've only spent about $100 on Hearthstone, so I don't have like the full card collection or anything. And it's just not possible to survive in the meta. You either have to play boring aggro decks that are boring. You can farm for 5 months to try to get the decks you get, and by then, the decks that are good have changed and you're screwed over. Or you can quit the game. Or you can play control decks and get totally wrecked and stay at rank 20. The highest I've ever gotten with a control deck, it was a Druid control. It was like rank 14 maybe. I've tried to use hybrid Druid. I've tried to use all those Druid decks. None of them work. You can't get anywhere because Mage just completely dominates you. Mech Mage. It's horrible. So then the only thing that you can do in Hearthstone is Arena, pretty much. It's fun, right? And so you play Arena, and you play 2 matches, and now you're out of gold. And you say, okay, well, now I better wait till tomorrow. And then you get 140 gold quest. Like, okay, well, I guess I better wait till tomorrow again. And then you get a 60 gold quest. And you're like, okay, I better wait till tomorrow then. And then you get another 40 gold quest. And so you effectively just spent around 3 days for one arena run. And you probably don't want to earn normal gold from playing Constructed because of how not fun it is with all the Mech Mages. And so you just farm quests in casual mode. And, and even in casual mode, there's Mech Mages everywhere. It's horrible. And so you do that. And you don't play Hearthstone that often. And when you do, you only play Arena. And yeah. But that's 3 days for one arena run, and you have barely any chance of succeeding. So don't even go here without telling me about infinite arena runs. You got to be very lucky to have infinite arena runs. You also have to be a very skilled player, which 75% of the Hearthstone community that's trying to have fun in the game is not, which is a problem. And yeah, so I'm a skilled player. I'm not a noob. I've been playing since the open beta, but it's gotten so bad. Constructing used to be my forte. It was what I was really good at, making decks, that type of thing. And then I realized, well, I'm only going to be able to do Arena now because Constructed is really stupid. And so I started doing what I just told you guys. Every 3 days I do an Arena run. It was pretty decent. Pretty fun. And then I started getting very unlucky in my Arena drafts, and Arena got boring and not fun because I was so unlucky. Because I am the Lord of Luck, as we all know this. So yeah, Arena got boring because I would never get any legendaries. I would get like 1 out of maybe 7 arena drafts. I'd get a legendary, But that's 21 days. One legendary. It's horrible. And so the only way I see to solve this is for me to spend $500 on packs or $1,000 on packs and get the entire Hearthstone collection. But I don't have the money, and I don't want to do that because that's a stupid idea. It's a waste of money, and it's probably not worth it. You should just spend it on some other new game on like Overwatch that we're about to talk about. So I said, you know what? The only solution I see here is to quit Hearthstone because it isn't fun anymore. And there's other games that I'm playing a lot more frequently now, like Team Fortress 2, soon to be Overwatch this coming fall, and Here's of the Storm, which is one of the best MOBAs on the market now, better than even the likes of League of Legends. Even though League of Legends has way more content, it's just a much more exciting gameplay and much more team-oriented, along with the special map playstyles instead of the same thing with different textures. So, yeah. That is why I quit Hearthstone, and that is why I am now playing Here's of the Storm, which I also highly recommend getting into the Founders Pack, because the Founders Pack is extremely awesome. Here's of the Storm is extremely awesome, and even if you have zero MOBA experience, it is very fun and can definitely get you into the MOBA area of games. So yeah, that is why I quit Hearthstone. Now to talk about Overwatch. Okay, so Overwatch here, very promising. I don't think it's going to be like TF2. I've watched many a YouTuber who went to PAX talk about Overwatch, and they have said from the gameplay it is not about mobility like Team Fortress 2. It is all about the teamwork, sort of like Here's the Storm. And I like that about games. I like when there's a lot of teamwork in games because it makes them a lot more fun, I think. And so, basically, I took that into account, and I looked at all the abilities comparatively to each other, not really knowing what the map layouts are going to look like and other characters that will be released. And yeah, I pretty much formed my own personal opinions about everybody in the game, and yeah. So, the first up we're going to talk about is Zarya. She is a tank class. She looks beast. She has this really cool particle cannon that shoots this sort of orbital light thing that will kill people. It'll kill people. And then she has she can also like make it like sort of like a flamethrower, but it's just like a straight out beam of light. It's pretty cool. There's like two things you can do with it. You can shoot a beam of light, and you can shoot a straight like beam, which I assume uses like more ammo. And their abilities are particle barrier. She can emit a personal barrier that shields her against incoming attacks, so that's pretty good. She could maybe be given a healing buff or a damage buff. While she has the particle barrier open, she can totally wreck some face. Then we have her projected barrier. She surrounds one of her teammates with an energy barrier that simultaneously absorbs fire and boosts the power of her particle cannon. So a good combo wombo would be if you're in a big team fight, you give your weaker character on your team a projected barrier, and then you just go ham with your particle cannon. And then that person is completely, pretty much immune to all attacks for a good 10 seconds-ish. And then your particle cannon is doing like a ton of damage, so that's really good. We have Graviton Surge, which is her ultimate ability. She launches a big gravity bomb, and it sucks everyone towards the middle of it, and yeah. Basically, I would see this as a combo wombo with some other high damage dealing character but low health. And so they would get trapped inside the orb, and then they would be like, oh, what am I doing? They'd be really disoriented, not firing in the right directions. And that person that deals a lot of damage would be able to quickly run in there and take everybody out trapped inside the orb. Or if you need to get a point captured, then you can also use Graviton Surge in the last moment to get that last point capped. As we do know that control points is going to be a game mode in this, as well as payload. So yes, my personal opinion on Zarya is she is pretty average, I think. She is decent, in fact. Yeah, not that OP, not OP, it's pretty good, you know. Next character we're going to talk about is McCree. He is an offensive character, and he is bad. Very bad. He has a Peacekeeper, that is his, basic weapon. It's basically like the Spy Ambassador. That's exactly what it is. He can fan the Peacekeeper hammer to swiftly unload the entire chamber, so he can rapid fire it So that's pretty good, I guess, but still not very good. He has his second ability, Combat Roll, not that exciting. He can just quickly roll in a direction. I mean, it's good for him because he walks extremely slow. In fact, he has the movement speed of a heavy. However, it's still a bad ability likewise. It's, because we previously just looked at Zarya, and Zarya has Particle Barrier, which is a very, very good ability that can pull off some pretty good combos, and McCree is just combat rules, like, oh, okay. Then we have Flashbang. McCree heaves a blinding grenade that explodes shortly after it leaves his hand. The blast staggers enemies in a small radius. So if you're ever in a big team fight, and all the enemies are bunched up, which they shouldn't be if they're a good team, then you would have thrown a flashbang. Everyone would get disoriented and not be able to fire anything, and you would direct their entire team. So flashbang is pretty good. It says it explodes shortly after leaving his hand. I think that sort of debuffs it a little bit because you have to be in pretty close range. You can't just be up on a sniper tower and throw a flashbang and everybody is blinded because it doesn't explode till it hits someone or hits the ground. So yeah. Then we have Deadeye, which is his ultimate ability. He takes a few precious moments to aim, and when he's ready to fire, he shoots every enemy in his line of sight, which is bad. It is actually pretty bad. The weaker his targets are, the faster he'll line up a kill shot. So basically, he will he'll headshot them. And it'll take him a little while to line them up, but it'll line up his shots and fire everyone in them and get headshots of people for his ultimate. But it's in his line of sight. That doesn't mean that he's going to spin in circles rapidly and then, while he's in Deadeye and he's going to kill everybody everywhere that he can see. It means if you're looking straight forward and there's someone behind you, you're going to not do anything when you fire off that ultimate. You are going to just shoot randomly in front of you, and then that person's going to kill you. So it's really, really actually quite bad, because if you are going to need to kill somebody in front of you, you're going to need to do it quickly and fast and efficiently, and Deadeye takes a little while to activate. As it says, it takes a few precious moments to aim, and when he's ready to fire, he will line up his line of sight. Also, if his targets are weaker, they are going to run faster, which means it's going to take him even longer to line up his kill shot, even though it says he'll line up faster if they are weaker. They will probably kill him before he can even line up his shots. So one of the worst ultimate abilities in the game, I think. McCree, not that fond of him. He looks cool. He's not that good. Now, next one we got is Tracer. I'm going to be playing her a lot, actually. She looks really fun. She is an offensive class. Her basic weapon is pulse pistols. It's basically just a dual weapon, and it can rapidly fire little beams. And it's really cool. And she has Blink. She can rapidly zip across a space very fast. So you can, dash forward, you think. And then we have Recall. She can bound backward in time, return her health and ammo. So if someone gave her a really big buff, like Zinnia, then she can recall back after she fires at somebody, get all of her buffs back, then run back in and kill them. It's not that OP because it also moves her position back. So, yeah. Then we have her ultimate ability, Pulse Bomb. She fires a large bomb that adheres to any surface or unfortunate opponent it lands on. After a brief delay, the bomb will explode, dealing high damage to all enemies within its blast radius. So it's basically like a frag grenade from Here's the Storm. It's going to be one of the best ultimate abilities in the game, because if enemies are clumped together, which they shouldn't be again, but if they are not that good a team or they're caught off guard in a bad situation, the bomb will explode, and it will deal a lot of damage. And you will climb up the ranks of the team very fast. So Pulse Bomb, it is quite good. It also knocks back really far. So even if they're super tanky and don't die, then people will get knocked back, and then you can snipe them. I don't know. It's really good. Really good. Next up, we got Reaper. This guy's a little bit weird. He's an offensive class. You can think of him sort of like a spy from TF2, but with pistols. Yes, double barrel pistols. His first thing is the Hellfire shotguns. He tears enemies apart with twin shotguns. So yeah, it's one of the best basic weapons in the game, actually. It's very good. We got Wraith form. Reaper becomes a shadow for a short period of time. While in this form, he takes no damage and is able to pass through enemies, but cannot fire his weapons or use other abilities. So it's sort of like an invisible spy, but it's an ability that uses up mana, and people can still see you moving, I think. Because it says he becomes a shadow, so you'll be able to see him. So yeah, I think that's going to be pretty good if he wants to get in a good position and hide. and then come up behind someone and use your Hellfire shotguns and just wreck. You got Shadow Step. After marking a destination, he can disappear and then reappear at that location. So he could mark a destination and then he disappears, like a spy cloak. And then he can run off and kill someone, and then teleport back to that destination and kill someone else. So that's actually really good. It's like Tyrell's ability, where he does some damage, and then wherever he knows that damage, he can activate that ability and teleport back there and deal more damage. It's pretty good. Death Blossom, ultimate ability. It's his ultimate. In a Blur Motion, he empties both Hellfire shotguns at breakneck speed, dealing massive damage to all nearby enemies. It's going to be one of the best ultimates in the game, actually, because he's not going to be able to kill. He's going to be very fast, and he's going to deal 10 damage. So yeah, a little bit worse than, it's a little bit worse than Tracer's, actually. Because Tracer's is in a big area, and she can't get damage when she does it, because she can fire it from way off. It activates and when it goes near it, so you can place it there and then run off. And he doesn't have to move around with it. He can just throw from distance. So it's like a ranged Death Blossom is what Tracer has. And it knocks people back, so it's good. It's really good. I don't know if Reaper does more damage than Tracer's, but we'll see when the game comes out, or stats are released. Widowmaker, best class in the game. That's all I'm going to say. It is so overpowered, I don't even know what they were thinking. But yeah, Widow's Kiss, the best basic weapon in the game by far. It is a machine gun, it's a machine gun, it's a sniper, it's a assault rifle that can switch into a sniper rifle with a click of a button. It's insane. It's the best basic weapon in the game. She also has the best second ability in the game, Grappling Hook. So she can kill someone with her Widow's Kiss in assault mode, switch it over to sniper mode, and grapple hook up to a spot, and then she could snipe somebody right after that.
Where's Katie?
Then she could play her Venom Mine, which is her next ability, and that can explode. And then that will, she plays it on a wall, someone will walk by, it will explode. It's really good. It'll poison them, also, while doing a little bit of damage. Then we have the Infrared Sight, her ultimate ability. Widowmaker's Recon Vision allows her to see the heats and interests of a target through walls and objects for a moderate amount of time. This enhanced vision is shared with her allies. So she could, let's say she's trying to get a target. She's in a really bad space. I hope what Blizzard does with this is they implement a heart shot system so you can snipe them in the heart and it's like a headshot. And she can see the heart better with infrared sight. That would make it a very decent ultimate ability. However, I don't think she really needs that good an ultimate ability because of her other OP things. So, I don't know what they'll do with that. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks like a pretty decent ultimate. On to the next character, which is going to be Winston. Big giant gorilla guy with a photon gun. Or a Tesla cannon, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it a photon gun because that sounds cool. The Tesla cannon, it's a short-range electric barrage for as long as he holds down the trigger. So it will, just fire a bunch of lightning bolts, which is epic as crud. He's got a jump pack, which allows him to jump up in the air higher than normal classes. And then he has a shield projector, which will project the shield down around his allies, and then fire won't be able to get through it. However, you cannot return fire from within it. So if your allies are recharging their abilities, and you guys are getting ready for a team fight, and the other guys are right there, you can just pop that thing around. You guys can all get ready, and then you can just charge them, and you can win. It's very good. Also, on his jump pack, he will deal significant damage to enemies he lands on. He will also stagger them. So I assume that means it will disable him for a little bit, so he can Tesla cannon him a little bit. And he's got Primal Rage's ultimate ability. Not very good, but pretty good. It doesn't combo well with all his other stuff is the problem. He embraces his animal nature, significantly boosting his health and only allowing him to use his melee. His melee is also strengthened, by the way. He can also use his jump pack more frequently while raging, and he can only make melee and jump pack attacks while he's using Primal Rage. So it doesn't combo well with this other stuff because then shield projector really is that good. Tesla cannon is completely disabled, and his melee isn't that good to begin with. So it's not one of the best ones, but it's pretty decent comparatively to other ones. So yeah, Winston's a pretty decent guy, I think. I will also be playing Winston. He looks pretty freaking cool, and he's a gorilla. Who doesn't want to play as a gorilla, right? Next we got Farah. She has an offensive role like most of the other characters on this list. She has her rocket launcher, so she's basically a soldier. She has a jump jet, which she can jump up in the air with. She can also hover in the air with her suit's thrusters. So she can have a burst to go up really high, and then she can hover down. So that's really good. Then she has concussive blast. She loses a wrist rocket that knocks back any enemies. It strikes and deals immense damage to shields and barriers. So this would be a hard counter to Winston's shield and any of the other shields that I previously mentioned. So that's going to be very good because a lot of the class's best abilities use shields. And we have Barrage. It's basically a bunch of rockets just firing everywhere, and they're mini rockets, so they deal less damage. However, it's a lot of them, and she hovers up in the air while she does this. So it's Farrah's. I'm also going to be playing her a lot. I might even main Farrah. She is really looking very cool, and I love her. And yeah, she's awesome. Now you have Reinhardt. He is a giant mech robot guy, and he looks awesome. He has a giant hammer. That is his basic ability, or that's his basic attack. It's rocket hammer. It's melee. He is able to deal punishing damage in a wide arc with every swing. So ranged classes are definitely going to be the upside against Reinhardt. And then he has a shield, which can block melee and snipes or bullets, but he cannot attack while he has that out. So he could run forward with that while someone's sniping him, and then take him out once he's close enough to them. Reinhardt charges forward in a straight line. Now this is an next ability charge. He charges forward in a straight line, grabbing hold of enemies in his path. If he collides with the wall, foes he's carrying suffer extreme damage. So he just smashes people into a wall. A lot. It's very good. It's a really good ability. This guy has an extra ability, Fire Strike. By whipping his rocket hammer forward, Reinhardt slings a flaming projectile which pierces and damages any enemies it touches. So that's his range, pretty much. It's Fire Strike. That's his range. And he has an extra ability, I assume, because his basic attack is Rocket Hammer, and that's only melee. So yeah. And we've got Earth Shatter. Reinhardt forcefully slams his Rocket Hammer into the ground, knocking down and damaging all enemies in front of him. Next one we're going to talk about is Symmetra. Symmetra's weapon emits a short-range beam that homes in on nearby enemies, dealing continuous damage that increases the longer it is connected. The projector can also release a charged energy ball that deals high damage. It's the Photon Projector. It's his basic attack, and it's pretty good. By the way, did I mention Symmetra is the best class in the game? It locks into targets and deals damage over a period of time. It's pretty good. Now we've got Sentry Turret, our next thing. Symmetra sets up a small turret that automatically fires speed-reducing blasts at the nearest enemy within range. Several turrets can be built on the battlefield at once. So it's basically a better thing of the other class we have here, who can set up turrets in plain sight. She can set them up in hidden places. So hers is way better. Then she has Photon Shield. Again, the other class can counter that really hard. It's Farrah. Symmetra surrounds an ally with a hard light shield that absorbs damage and persists as long as that ally remains alive. This is actually really good, I guess. Yeah, it's good, because even if you die, the Photon Shield stays up, so it's pretty good. Teleporter, it's the best ultimate ability in the game. It can get people to the front line, and almost everyone in this game is low as crap, so it's going to be very, very good. Yeah. Now on to the next one, Torbjorn, which is a worse version of Symmetra. He is the worst class in the game. He is a defensive class. His basic attack, Rivet Gun, it is the worst basic attack in the game. It deals really, really low amounts of damage. It's close range, though, as well. It's like very inaccurate far range. And he has his Force Hammer, which he can smack people in the face with, and also use to upgrade his sentries and stuff, like AG from TF2. He can build his turrets, which are the same exact thing as Symmetra's, except they're giant and bigger. And he has another ability, where he can make armor packs, which give him more health, which really doesn't make any sense. He can also give other people the armor packs, but usually Torbjorn is going to be way on the near spawn during control points, and everyone's going to be up at the front of the battlefield, so those are going to be useless. Then he has Molten Core, the worst ultimate ability in the game, which lets him upgrade his stuff faster, but your stuff should be fully upgraded already, unless you're going to be offensive. But this is a defensive class, a heavily defensive class. He doesn't have anything offensive at all. So yeah, you don't need to upgrade your sentry fast. It's gonna already be upgraded because you stayed at spawn and upgraded your sentry to save the control point. That's what you did. Yeah, it's the worst class in the game, and I'm not going to be playing him anytime soon. The only time I'm going to be playing him is for the lulz because he's so bad. Bastion, really cool guy. I thought he was boring at first. He actually looks pretty cool. He's a defensive class. Basically uses configurations. He has two configurations, assault and siege. Those are his two things. Assault, he can run around, and he has an assault rifle, and a siege, he basically becomes a sentry, one of Reinhardt's sentries. He's a guy, and he does way more damage. And then he has reconfigure, which is what allows him to change into siege and assault. And then he has self-repair, which allows him to stay in one place and heal up very slowly. And yeah, he can't overfire while he's self-repairing, so it could be healed while, like you push the enemy off. And so yeah. The remote mine, it's a pretty decent ultimate ability. It's a little mine that will travel on wheels. So it basically heat seeking, so an enemy arrives in the area and then it runs towards him and explodes. And it deals substantial damage in its blast radius. That might seem really obvious and people would be able to avoid it easily, but really it's not. It will go forward and then dig into the ground, and then when people come, it'll pop up out of the ground and deal a bunch of bullets. It's really good. Yeah. Reinhardt, or Bastion, I mean. Not Reinhardt. Reinhardt's horrible. But Bastion, Reinhardt, why am I saying Reinhardt? I mean Torbjorn. I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up in my words. Bastion is going to be pretty good, I think. Not my best fit. One of my favorite classes, Hanzo. He's really cool. He's basically parkour genius. He's like Mirror's Edge style. He has a storm bow. He knocks and fires an arrow at his target. This guy can parkour, also he can parkour off of anything and then fire bows. And it's really cool. He has a sonic arrow, so you could fire your sonic arrow and try to see where someone is, and then you can parkour over there and snipe them, so you can know if someone's coming around the corner. Then we have scatter arrow. He shoots a fragmenting arrow that ricochets off walls and objects and can strike multiple targets. So this combos with sonic arrow, because he can fire his sonic arrow, creates a little orb, he can see what's behind the wall, and then he can play scatter arrow and bounce it off that wall and kill that person, them not even knowing he was there in the first place. His ultimate ability, Dragon Strike, it looks really cool. I don't know how good it's going to be. It's a giant spirit dragon that travels through the air in a big line. It passes through walls in its way, devouring any enemies it encounters. So yeah, it looks like it's pretty situational and can only travel in one direction, so it's not really AoE. But if you're like defending a point and everyone is right in front of you and you play Dragon Strike, you're going to get a lot of kills, man. So yeah, it's really good. He's going to be very good. And you have Mercy, the healer of the bunch. She has her Caduceus Staff. That is her basic attack. She engages one of two beams that connect to an ally. By maintaining the beam, she can either restore that ally's health or increase the amount of damage they deal. So she can up regeneration or she can up damage dealing per second DPS. So that's really good. We have her Caduceus Blaster. It's a little sidearm pistol. It's not very good, but it's good in case you see someone near you while you're with your friend healing them or giving him more damage and he needs a little bit quick burst to take him out, and you fire Caduceus Blaster and you assist him. Then we have Guardian Angel. She flies up in the air with giant wings towards targets that need healing. That's pretty much all it is. It's pretty good. Then we have Angelic Descent. She will descend from her Guardian Angel, so it's like they're both one ability. Then we have Resurrect, her ultimate ability. She can resurrect dead bodies on the floor, which is the most OP thing I've ever heard, and it is really, really good. Mercy is OP, JK, but pretty good. Now on to our last guy we're going to be reviewing today, Zenyatta. He is a monk robot guy that fires balls that float around his neck. I know, it's the weirdest thing ever, but he's actually pretty good. He's a support class like Mercy over there. And he has his Orb of Destruction, that is his basic attack. He has little energy orbs that he fires at people after a few seconds of gathering power. So yeah. And he has his Orb of Harmony, which is his second ability. He casts an orb over the shoulder of a targeted ally, and as long as Zenyatta remains alive, the orb slowly restores health to his ally. Only one ally can receive the orb's benefit at a time. That's a really bad ability because it's like a debuff version of Mercy's thing, because it says Mercy as long as Mercy state, or it's the shield thing that we talked about earlier, and it says as long as this person stays alive, then this will happen, blah blah blah. And this Orb of Harmony, it's when you die. If it's once, so long as Zenyatta remains alive. Well, if the other guy dies, then he's gonna lose it likewise, right? Yeah. So it's like if either the pair dies, the thing is broken. So that's like really bad. We have Orb of Discord, amplifies the amount of damage they receive for as long as Zenyatta lives. So it's the same thing as Orb of Harmony, not very good. And we have his Ultimate Transcendence, which he can rapidly heal people nearby while he can't get killed. So it's very good. And he can't use his abilities or weapons, but he basically becomes a giant dispenser. OP. So yeah, Zenyatta is going to be pretty decent. Yeah, that's my review for Overwatch. I will be playing it when it comes out. And I hope you guys love the TF2 commentary. I'll see you when I see you. Have a great day. Bye.